On the 6th of August 2015, President al-Sisi opened the new Suez Canal, an historic moment not just for Egypt but for the whole world. The new Suez Canal was realized within the space of a single year, a mega operation. The construction had been made necessary by the growing number of ever bigger ships with ever greater draft that were using the Suez Canal. Mr. Awadallah, a representative of the Suez Canal Authority, one of the parties involved in the construction, and chairman of the Canal Mooring and Lights Company, explains.
Usually transient of ship in Suez Canal, one convoy from north and another convoy from south. The convoy from north start at 1 o'clock a.m. usually daily and go to Buhayrat, stay in this region at around 11 hours until the convoy of Suez come and go from this area and go to the north. Then this ship start to complete their trip to Suez. This area cannot take more than 8 ships, 66 feet depths. So if one a day, more than this numbers come to Suez Canal, it will be in waiting area to the next day. After we double Suez Canal, this cannot happen. Also very important point for emergency. If any ship has anything in Suez Canal, the Suez Canal will stop. Now, we cannot stop it.
Back to the beginning, August 2014. The digging of the new canal has been contracted out to the Dutch dredging firm Boskalis. The canal, to be excavated up to the city of Ismailia, was to be 32 kilometers in length and over 24 meters deep. The project involves more than just the excavation of a new canal. Tens of crossings from west to east run beneath the old Suez Canal. Pipelines for salt and fresh water, wastewater, fuel, electricity, data, etc. In most cases, these were installed by means of horizontal directional drilling, or HDD. Needless to say, these crossings needed to be extended beneath the new canal. Once again, this was the responsibility of the Canal Mooring and Lights Company. It opted for a leading firm in this area, Flowtex Egypt.
Flowtex is one of the biggest company in HDD in the Middle East, and have a good experience in the region of Suez Canal.
When President Sisi announced to the world in August 2014 about the new Suez Canal projects, they called Flowtex immediately for a meeting in the Suez Canal authorities in Ismailia with our partner in Suez Canal, Canal Mooring Company, and they awarded Flowtex 22 crossings under the new Suez Canal. And this 22 crossings, schedule-wise, has to be finished by the end of January 2015.
Flowtex made an immediate start on the planning and calculations for the project. A major additional problem was the time pressure. Everything had to be completed within the space of 6 months. Although Flowtex has worldwide experience in HDD technology and had already drilled beneath the Suez Canal 77 times before, this was something else again. The eyes of the whole world were trained on the project. Failure was not an option. Once everything had been identified, calculated and planned, the rigs could be positioned and the first pilot drill disappeared into the ground. In order to meet the deadline, 3 rigs were operated in parallel at once. Above ground, the dredgers shifted tons of sand, while below ground, pipe after pipe was drawn through. After the pilot drill had reached the other side of the new canal, the borehole was widened to the desired size with the aid of reamers, after which the final pipe was pulled through in its entirety from the eastern to the western side of the future canal. Work continued day and night, 24 hours a day, in order to complete the 22 crossings on time. In order to prevent any physical snags, technicians from Herrenknecht, the supplier of the rigs, were hired.
Okay, I was sent to the Suez Channel in order from Mr. Sada on a personal request to get somebody from Herrenknecht, from the machine producer side, on the job site from the Suez Channel, regarding really high importance for Egypt and especially for Somalia, to make, if should everything happens regarding a tight time schedule, to get a spare part soon on site, and also regarding any possible issues, to get directly contact to Germany on a short way.
The entire project was implemented under the auspices of the Egyptian army, which, given the economic importance of the project, controls the area. The huge effort made by all the Flowtex staff meant that the job was finished earlier than expected. The last of the 22 pipes was pulled through in January 2015. Not all the crossings were implemented by Flowtex. In the past, fresh water had been transported by a dredging pipeline from the western to the eastern side of the old Suez Canal for agricultural purposes. This water filled the Sheikh Zayed Canal, located at right angles to the Suez Canal, from which it was pumped up by local farmers to irrigate their land. Here too a new facility had to be devised. The new Suez Canal was set to cut through this freshwater canal, thereby depriving farmers on the eastern side of the Suez Canal of water. This project was awarded to a micro-tunnelling company that was required to drill 4 tunnels for 3.5-metre diameter pipes. A micro-tunnelling project of this kind does, however, take a long time.
By end of March, they realized that this project cannot be completed before the opening of Suez Canal. For that reason, they cannot cut the Sheikh Zayed Canal. Then the new Suez Canal cannot be opened. Then they called Flowtex for a solution. Then Flowtex said, okay, we can do 4 siphons, 48-inch, under Suez Canal, 52 meters depth, in order to transfer 12 cubic meters per second.
Once again, there were various discussions with Flowtex engineers, sometimes held under the critical gaze of the most senior military commander in the locality. In order to transport the water in this temporary manner to the other side of the new Suez Canal, it was decided to make use of gravity. The supply of water coming from under the current Suez Canal by the dredge pipeline would be pumped immediately into a newly constructed basin between the 2 Suez Canals. The new Flowtex pipes had to be connected up to the bottom side of that basin, so that the Sheikh Zayed Canal would be fed by gravity on the other side of the new Suez Canal, and sufficient water would always be available for such purposes as the big mango plantations on the eastern side of the Suez Canal. While the basin was being built, Flowtex installed 2 rigs of 250 tons each to drill the siphons for the HDPE pipes side by side 24 hours a day. Flowtex was awarded as a so-called EPC contractor and was thus responsible for the engineering, procurements and construction. The individual HDPE pipes were welded together on the pipe side. When the first reamer appeared above ground again on the rig side, a new, larger reamer was hooked up on the other side. Working in tandem and in parallel, 2 teams set about realizing the 2 crossings. Pipe after pipe was connected up, and the 2 foreman drillers guided the entire process with the utmost precision. Once the first pipe had been pulled through, the rig was immediately transferred to the next location.
After we finished the 3 siphons and the waters has been transferred to the other side, then Suez Canal Authority cut the Sheikh Zayed Canal. Then already the waters has been transferred to the other side.
With the cutting of the Sheikh Zayed Canal, the second Suez Canal had become a fact and was ceremonially opened on the 6th of August 2015. As we saw, the work was done, but not for Flowtex. Water was now being supplied through 3 pipes, so one was still missing. While boat after boat passed through the 2 Suez Canals, now simultaneously from north to south and vice versa, the final drilling machine was still working flat out. Once the last reamer re-emerged above ground on the rig side, the reamer to be attached for security to the front of the final pipe arrives on the pipe side. Just like all the previous pipes, this final pipe is first tested under pressure with water. Once this pipe has also been given the all clear, both the reamer and the pipe can be connected up to the drill string. The pipe can then be gradually withdrawn. By now, darkness has fallen as the reamer, followed by the final pipe, disappears into the mud towards the other side of the new Suez Canal. Very early in the morning of August the 12th, the reamer is the first to re-emerge above ground. Once it has been disconnected, the pipe can also be drawn through to its ultimate destination. By completing 4 crossings, 48-inch with a length of 900 meters each in 100 days by using 2 rigs, Flowtex has made a worthwhile record. For Flowtex 2, this project is now complete, and together with all the other companies that have worked on this Suez Canal, its name can be added to the large memorial erected for the purpose.
شركة فلوتكس مصر للحفر الأفقي وبذلوا مجهود كبير أثناء حفر قناة السويس. من أول يوم استلمنا موقع الحفر ونشكرهم ونشكر رئيس مجلس الإدارة الأستاذ محمد سامي.
Politics now considered as a part of canal mooring. Very important for us to finish HDD.
Oh, by the way, with this project we completed 100 crossing under Suez Canal.